Hello, today we're going to learn how to find area of rectangles. As a reminder, area is the amount of space an object takes up. In this first problem here, we're given a rectangle with a length and a width. Here we have a length of 7 5/10, and here we have a width of 3 2/10. In order to find the area, we are simply going to multiply my length times my width. Now I'm looking at this rectangle one more time, and I notice my length and my width are both given to us. So now my next step is just to simply multiply. However, when I take a closer look at my length and my width, I notice we have decimals. So this means we have to recall our knowledge about multiplying decimals and apply it to find the area of this rectangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my length of 7 5/10, and I'm going to simply multiply it by my width of 3 2/10. Now I notice my decimals here, but I'm going to just continue on with multiplying like I would normally be doing. And I will include my decimal, my final answer at the end. So now I'm simply doing 2 by 2 multiplication. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Notice I'm continuing with my multiplication and recalling my multiplication skills as well in order to solve this problem. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 2 is 22. And now I add everything together. Now hopefully this is pretty simple for you, as we have learned this in the past, and now it's all about recalling this and applying it to this problem. So now 2,400 is not my final answer. Because I had decimals in my question, I need to do something here and figure out where is my decimal point going to go in my final answer. And I'm going to write this in green so you can easily see what I'm about to do. What I'm first going to do is I'm going to eliminate the decimal here, and I'm going to multiply by 10. So now by multiplying by 10, I move that decimal point over one place. I'm just going to write one place here on the side, just as a little reminder for myself. And now here at 3 2/10, I'm also going to multiply that by 10. And I'm just going to write again, one place to the right. Now if I combine that, I multiplied by 10 here, and I multiplied by 10 again here, I'm multiplying by 100. So by multiplying by 100 in my question, that means in my answer, I'm now going to divide by 100. So now I'm going to look at my answer here, and at the end of my whole number is my decimal point. When I divide by 100, that means I'm moving my decimal point 2 places to the left. 1, 2, giving me a final answer of 24. Now some of you might write 24.00. Now this is telling me that you have 24 and 0 hundredths, which 0 hundredths is equivalent to 0. So therefore you can simply write your answer to this problem as just 24. And don't forget our unit of measurement, 24 square inches. And that's the answer to our problem. You are still following the same routine when you're finding an area of a rectangle simply by multiplying the length times the width. However, the only thing you need to do in these problems today is recall your multiplying decimal skills and apply it to solving each of these problems. So let's take a look at one more example here. Again, I see I have another rectangle with a length and a width. My length here is 4 9/10, and my width is 4 2/10. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start multiplying. 2 times 9 is 18, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 98. Moving to my tens place, adding my 0, 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 3 is 19. And now I'm going to add everything together. Hopefully these skills are coming back to you. Now as we add everything together, we're going to come up with an answer of 2,058. But as hopefully you are all recalling, that is not our correct answer. We have to do one more thing. So just like the previous problem, I'm going to multiply by 10 here, and I'm just writing that 1 just to write a little note to myself on the side so I don't forget it. And I'm going to multiply by 10 again here. telling me that I multiplied by 10 at 4 and 9 tenths, creating 49, and 4 and 2 tenths, creating 42. So total, I multiplied by 100 to eliminate my decimal point. So if I multiply by 100 in my question, I need to now divide by 100 in my answer. So now every whole number has a decimal point at the end of it. I am going to divide by 100 by moving my decimal 1, 2 places to the left, giving me a final answer of 20 and 58 hundredths square feet. And therefore, that is my final answer. Do not forget to include your decimal point in your final answer, making sure after you multiply, you look back at the problem and determine where are you going to put your decimal point. Now in this answer here, they're giving us the width is 9 and the length is 15 and 5/10 yards. Now, even though we know area is simply just length times width, I still enjoy drawing this out. Even though this figure is not going to be drawn to scale, I like just labeling everything because seeing this visually makes it much easier for me. Now that was not a good 5. Let's fix my 5. So I have 15 and 5/10 yards as my length, and my width is 9 yards. So now, just like the other problems, we know that to find the area of a rectangle, we're simply going to do my length times my width. Now I notice here I have a single digit number here. So now I'm just going to simply multiply, and again, notice how I'm rewriting these problems on scrap paper. Make sure you're doing that to help you solve each and every problem. 49 and 9 plus 4 is 13. Now, I notice I don't have a number here, so now I'm simply finished with my problem. But except 1,395 is not my final answer. Just like we did for the previous problem, I see a decimal point here, so I'm going to move it one place to the right, which that told me I multiplied by 10. Now I moved it just one place, so I'm just going to write that 1 here, just as a little reminder to myself. And moving it one place to the right is telling me that I multiplied by 10. Now I look at my 9 and I don't see a decimal point here, so I don't need to do anything. But now if I multiply by 10 in my question, in my answer, I now need to divide by 10. Now I see this whole number with a decimal point at the end. When I divide by 10, I'm moving my decimal point one place to the left, giving me a final answer of 139 and 5/10 square yards. Because we are dealing with area, we have square yards. And therefore, that is the final answer to my problem. Throughout today's activities, you will be finding the area now of rectangles and squares. When you are doing this, your length and your width will most likely be a number involving decimals, which is going to mean you have to multiply these decimals together to find your answer, recalling prior knowledge skills that we have been learning this school year. When in the real world, when you do have a length and a width, they are not always whole numbers. So I can't stress that enough. In the real world, most likely when you're measuring area and you're measuring your side lengths of a room or any area that you're looking to find, there's a high chance that you will be dealing with fractions and decimals as well. So it's very important that you're able to solve these problems today, and feel free at any time to rewatch this video, especially if you want to, if you need a little reminder on how to multiply decimals, which you will be doing for today's activities. As always, my prior videos are also on my YouTube channel, so feel free to look back at them at any time.